The Closing Bell, Bloomberg's comprehensive cross-platform coverage of the U.S. market close, starts right now.
And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Alix Steel, taking you through the closing bell. A global simulcast starts right now. We're joined by Massar and Tim Stenovec in the radio booth. Scarlett Fu out for the day as we welcome our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, and our partnership with YouTube. A day where we see equities once again reaching for another record high. We should point out bond markets closed here for the Columbus Indigenous Day holiday.
Yeah, good to point that out. And having said that, in terms of what's helping some of the momentum to the upside, take a look at the semiconductor space, guys. The stocks, it is definitely showing some outperformance. There's 30 names in the index. 27 are higher today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Nvidia in just a moment, but the index, Tim, is up about 1.8%.
I didn't know anyone was even trading today. Like, were you guys out in New York City today on your way to work?
No.
Yes, I was out.
Completely empty. The city completely empty. It was just me and the tourists out there.
No,
I don't know. It still took me 35 minutes to get to work in a car, so I don't know about that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He took Flatbush, though. That was a whole different thing. But
yeah. Okay.
Flatbush.
Yeah.
It only took me a half hour, Alex.
Oh.
Okay, fine.
So
don't you guys live close to each other? Shouldn't you be carpooling or something?
That was my indication that nobody is in the city right now. So.
That's a good talk. But I think so your point is you don't believe what this rally is then in the equity market. You're forget it. No one's trading. Who cares?
I'm looking at volume compared to over the last 20 days. We're down on the S&P 500 by 13.4%. So nothing to shake a stick at.
Okay, well, nothing to shake a stick at here, but we do get the clapping and the cheering here on this Monday afternoon.
We're here.
As the closing bells ring, and yes, you see record highs across the board, at least for a couple of the big indices here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average going to finish higher by more than 200 points above the 43,000 mark, up about 0.5% on the day, and that is a record high. The S&P also closing out at a record high, right around 5860, up about 0.8% on the day. The Nasdaq Composite shy of its record high, but still higher on the day by about 0.9%. But let's take a look at the small cap space because we are starting to see a bit of a catch up here. The Russell 2000 closing out right around that 2248 level. So it's still about 10% from reclaiming that all-time high, but continuing to inch closer towards that with a 0.6% gain here on the day. And the S&P 400 mid caps also up about 0.6%, and they are closing at a fresh record high.
All right, guys. Yep, there you have it. And taking a look inside the S&P 500, you got most names higher today, Romaine, about 403 to the upside. Alex, just 100 losing ground today. So definitely fairly, I guess I should say, or definitely or fairly, whatever you want to do, pretty broad-based in terms of a move to the upside.
All right, I'm taking a look at the IMAP function here, guys. It's definitely a pesto pie. Only energy barely in the red, and consumer discretionary, even in the upside, actually. That's up by 0.2%. But the outperformance is in information technology as well as financials continuing to deliver as that curve continues to steepen, although bond market's definitely closed today. But I think the point is this is a risk on day, full stop, period. Goodbye.
That's a lot of green. All right, which means I had a lot of choices here today. Nvidia looks like it's at a new record, gaining 2.4%, highest level on record. Stock closing at 138.07 a share, and that's the first record close since June. It does remain below an intraday peak. It is the second best performer in the S&P 500 this year. We know that we've had comments from Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, talking about the Blackwell chip over the last week or two. In full production, the demand for it is insane. So there's a lot of analyst commentary out on Nvidia in particular about the business, the media. I mean, he is doing a lot of media, I should say, whether it's podcast, traditional business media, traditional media. Anyway, this
is he running for president?
No 60-minute. Oh, actually, he did. Didn't he do a 60-minute interview?
I mean, maybe. He is still selling something, right?
Yeah.
He's selling a lot of stuff. All right. Anyway, so Nvidia definitely an outperformer here. B. Riley, check this one out, guys. Up 23% at its highs today, up more than 32%. Money losing broker, dealer, and investment firm agreeing to sell a majority stake in its Great American Holdings business to funds managed by Oak Tree Capital Management. This one has been in the news a lot, so investors certainly happy about that that sale. Stock closing at $5.42 a share. And then an AI play, Big Bear AI soaring just off its highs of the session, up almost 19% though here at the close. It's an AI solutions provider, announced that it was awarded a 5-year, $165 million sole source prime contract for global force information management production services from the U.S. Army. So investors like that news, sending that higher.
Okay, you had a lot of choices.
I did.
Me, not so much. I do want to start with shares of Boeing, down 1.3% today. It's the first trading day since the company announced it would cut its global workforce by about 10%. They did that after the bell on Friday. Never a good sign when news drops them. Then they announced a $5 billion charge to their commercial airplanes and defense business as well. Shares fell as much as 3.3% earlier in the session, did hit a 52-week low, actually almost a 2-year low going back to November of 2022. Shares down 43% so far this year. Looking at shares of Caterpillar, down 2% today. An analyst call sending shares lower today. Morgan Stanley downgrades the stock to underweight. Analysts cautious on construction firms, flagging a disconnect between fundamentals and a share price. Once again, shares falling today by a little over 2%. And finally, the NASDAQ Golden Dragon China Index fell 2% as well today. Keeping an eye on what shares of, what ADRs of Chinese companies are doing. Most recent stimulus news out of China over the weekend. Also, quite a bit of data coming out, including China's loan expansion disappointing last month in a sign of still weak domestic demand, even though credit growth exceeded expectations, thanks largely to a surge in government bond sales.
I wonder if this is also just sort of, ooh, if I say lazy investing, is that bad? That like understanding the nuances, right? Of like, we have to help local government debt. We have to help housing. It's not about just cutting checks to people to buy TVs, right? Like there's a nuance there. So you just can't go like buy a blanket stock index that relates to Chinese equities.
Right. Targeted stimulus, right?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, okay, that was
tricky.
my point. Yeah.
Good point, good point. I'm thinking with maybe some people taking the day off, we've talked about it being a little bit mellow. Maybe they're going to one of the games that they're, I don't know, we have quite a choice tonight. You've got what? The Yankees, the Mets playing. You also have the Jets playing. We're calling it a trifecta. I think you even have a hockey game
But
tonight.
I think you got to go to LA for the Mets game.
All right, so maybe you left on Friday or Saturday.
But the whole point is like, how do you know what to watch?
Some people are doing it. Although after last night's Dodgers-Mets game,
Are you traumatized by that?
what was it, 8-0, guys?
9.
9-0?
Yeah.
Wait, do you even care?
I got the score wrong, but it was close, 9-0. I don't know.
Anyway,
Are any of these teams good?
What's that? The
Are any
Mets
of
are
these
great
teams
this
good?
year.
Are they? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
Mets are great.
Yeah.
I think that was the point because it was so painful yesterday. But that's what I'm saying. It's like they're staggered, right? Isn't the Mets at like 4 o'clock or something? So
Mets at 4. Then you've got
I
the Yankees at like 7:30ish, and then I got to see what time the Jets are. The Jets are at what 8:15 p.m. So yeah, there's maybe staggered.
Okay.
Okay, but you know, if you want to stay up for all those, maybe you go to Starbucks, you get a snack, you get a coffee. Guess what, guys? You may not be getting a discount with that. So this comes from the Wall Street Journal. Apparently, Starbucks is pulling back on promotions and discounts. This is an early move by Brian Niccol, the new chief executive officer, to reposition that coffee chain after a very stressed year. He took the helm back in August, and they're quietly reducing those discounts. Can I be totally honest with you? I didn't know they had discounts.
I was just going to say the same thing.
I didn't
had no idea they did.
You gotta have to be like a special top secret member or something to get those discounts.
Like loyalty points and
Yeah,
things
you got to
like
be
that,
on
right?
the app. And you gotta
Yeah.
do all
Wait, so you
that,
get the
blah, blah.
discounts?
No,
You don't drink
I
coffee.
don't drink coffee, so I don't really
They were the
care
buy
way or
one,
the
get
other.
one certain days, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, if you go in there and you get your, triple, pump, rainbow iced tea with the marshmallows on
What?
top.
That's not a
Not that
thing.
I've ever ordered that, but if you were to order that, yeah, you can get discounts if you go enough.
It's interesting though in
Yeah.
this story they talk about how like Starbucks always put themselves out right as a premium brand. I think that's why I don't think any of us thought there was discounting, right? Like here's what we do, pay for it, kind of the full price.
So I guess this is the early part of what Brian Niccol's doing to sort of transform the chain, to turn it around.
So we've pretty much established none of us actually go to Starbucks.
No,
right?
I go to Starbucks all the
Okay.
time. I just had
So-
I had
I
nothing,
don't go to
no
Starbucks.
reason to believe they were like packages. Apparently, I could have gotten a drink and a breakfast for $5.
There you go. I smell a class action lawsuit.
Bummer.
Yeah.
How did I not know? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to streamline things. We'll have to see as he builds up.
I'm all for this, though. I mean, all seriousness, though. Yeah. I mean, and we've talked a lot about this. The idea that when you get into this sort of vortex of discounts, it's hard to pull yourself out of it. Just ask Bed Bath & Beyond. And sometimes you just have to hold the ground and saying, look, the price is the price. It doesn't mean that there can't be promotions from time to time, but if you make that perpetual, you'll never get out from under it.
Don't mess with my Bed Bath & Beyond coupons.
Don't forget.
I have to break it to you. Your Bed Bath & Beyond coupons. Zero. Squadouche.
Those aren't going to work.
Yeah.
But you can actually buy stuff, right? And then you're like, oh, I forgot my coupons, and then come back and then they apply them. Like, it was crazy.
Isn't that part of the problem? Like,
I wonder why they're not around anymore.
Absolutely.
Hey, guys, the last thing I'll say about Starbucks and Brian Niccol, don't forget Brian Niccol was the guy who brought the Doritos Locos Taco to Taco Bell.
Yes.
So we'll see what he does in terms of menu innovation.
What's your point?
At Starbucks.
Yeah, do we like that?
What are you saying? You want a Doritos Locos latte? Is that what you're pushing for? There's no way Tim Stenovec would ever let that pass.
Frito-Lay.
That square jaw of his. So.
I guess we got to go.
It is, right? It's a good one. All right, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform.
I aspire to be Tim Stenovec.
It's like Superman, right? Clark Kent?
Why are you
what
covering
are we talking about?
What are you doing?
All right, radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. That's the Monday edition, our cross-platform. We will see you again, same time, same place tomorrow, guys.